Hello everyone. So we are going to solve the problem sum of natural numbers. So it is a basic question from GFG. So the problem is given an integer n. So our task is to calculate the sum of all natural numbers from 1 up to n, including n. They are mentioned here, inclusive. And if n is thus n is 0, the sum should also be 0. So we should handle this case also. So now, if you see the sample input, they gave 3. Then what does it mean? We should do 1 plus 2 plus 3, which is 6. So the output is also 6. If it is 5, then 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, it is 15. So n is between 1 to 10 to the power of 4. They gave like that. So n cannot be 0 by seeing the constraints. And the expected are big O of 1. So we should see here. So how we can solve the program? So there are multiple approaches. Approach 1 is use a loop from 1 to n, including n. So we take a variable, some variable, and add each value from loop to some variable. So at last the output is sum. So this is a basic approach we know. So we can solve this program in that way also, but we have to see that they give the constraints. The time should be 1. It means we should not use any loops. Even though it is single loop, we should not use it. So the alternate approaches, we all knew from the childhoods, there is a mathematical formula for the sum of natural numbers. What was the formula? Sum of natural numbers equal to n into n plus 1. This whole is divided by 2. So we know this was the formula for the sum of natural numbers. So we just use the same formula in our program simply to make it big of 1, because they mentioned here the time and space should be 1. So if you use the same logic here, the approach 2, because it gives the expected complexity satisfied rather than the approach 1, it is also correct, but the time is big of n because of using a loop. So if you use the second approach, then what is it? How we take a sum variable, because we need to return a value of which type it is integer. So the same, what are we doing? We are calculating sum. So sum equal to, what was the formula? N into n plus 1 whole divided by 2. Is this a formula? N into n plus 1, we get a value, and this whole thing is divided by 2. That's it. And should we return or print? They gave return type as int, so we should return the value. So the multiplication symbol in the Java programming is star symbol, and we use brackets here for the whole thing to make that by 2 should not be only applied for this, instead for this whole thing. So we keep them in a brackets, and then we keep it by 2. So we can see all the test cases are passed. And if you see expected of big O of 1, we didn't use any loop, just a mathematical formula. So it takes big O of 1 time. And also the auxiliary space, the space extra taken should be also be constant. So if you see sum, it is just an integer variable of 4 bytes. So it is also constant space without depending on the size of n. So the time is constant and the space is constant. So it is expected also compromised or they are satisfied. So this is how we solve this program using the approach 2 rather than the approach 1, which is better. The approach 2 is better. So practice the program. Thank you for watching.